Hey everybody, I am 4.5 months now on carnivore. Now I know you haven't heard from me for a long time and you probably think I just ditched the whole thing and went the way of the standard American diet. Well, no, I didn't. I have been doing carnivore now for 4.5 months. And I have so much to tell you, so here we go. I started this journey out very, very sick. I had chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia. Those I have had for over 35 years. I had been a vegan for 7 years. I was morbidly obese. My blood sugar was too high. I was insulin resistant. I had high blood pressure. I was on 2 medications for that. I had high cholesterol. I just wasn't on a medication because I refused to take it. And I was continually going to the ER with chest pains and all kinds of issues that I was sure was a heart attack. My sister died at age 53 of a heart attack. My father died at age 77 of a heart attack. And I was very scared that I was on my way to having that happen. Now, I did not eat a standard American diet. I ate a plant-based diet. I ate the diet they recommend to people with diabetes, and yet it caused my blood sugar to go up, it caused me to have metabolic syndrome, and it caused me to become very ill. In fact, I had my gallbladder removed, and I had fatty liver. And I remember talking to the surgeon, and the first thing he said is, "Oh, you have fatty liver." And then he said, "Oh, your gallbladder is full of stones, we have to take that out." And I remember thinking, how could I have fatty liver? Because I don't eat fat. I am your typical person who grew up in the 60s who started eating margarine. I'm the person who ate no fat. When I was 13, I was already starting to have a weight problem. Actually, I had a weight problem when I was born, 9-13. But let's just move on to age 12, 13, when you realize you have a weight problem, you're not as skinny as your peers. So I started dieting. And I remember doing the women's doctor's diet for women. And they had you eating eggs and low-fat proteins. It was kind of a protein diet. It worked pretty well for me. I remember eating a lot of Melba toast and salads, tuna on salads, and Melba toast was my typical high school lunch. And yet I still was a size 13 junior pants. And I looked at the pictures with me and all my friends, and I had fat legs. I always had fat legs. And so even though the top of me was thin, I had the fat legs, which now I know is lipedema. But at that point, I just felt shamed because I had the fat legs. So I have been struggling with my weight my whole life. I have been yo-yo dieting. I'd lose weight, I'd gain weight. Usually I'd lose 100 pounds, I'd gain 100 pounds. And I just couldn't get my weight under control. It just seemed like nothing I did worked. When I was in college, I became a compulsive overeater and I had an eating disorder. I would stop eating from Sunday through Wednesday, and then I would binge from Thursday through Saturday, and the cycle would start again. It started again to the point that I actually quit college after 2 years because my eating was out of control. I mean, one semester I gained 50 pounds just on popcorn. And I thought popcorn was this free food. Little did I know it was full of carbohydrates, so I gained all this weight. So when I was 27, I got mono and it didn't go away. I could not recover from the mono. I wondered if I had liver damage. There were things going on with my liver. Now I know that I had fatty liver and I wasn't processing things and filtering things well in my body. Toxins were building up. My diet was not healthy. Whenever I get a hold of my diet and made it healthier, I started to feel a little better, but I could not recuperate from chronic fatigue syndrome. I spent the first 5 years of my marriage in bed. From age 27 through age 32, I was laying on the couch sick. We were so sick, I had no job because I couldn't work. I had to give up my job as a director of admissions at a college, which was my dream job, and I loved it, and I had to give it up because I had no energy. I had no health, and it was very stressful on my new marriage. It was a very, very hard time. After that, I had children, And I was on disability because I couldn't work. And I was on disability for a while until one of the administrations decided they should clear disability off the books, and I was kicked off disability at that time, which put us in a very bad financial situation. I mean, for disability, I only get $1,100 a month, but that $1,100 was helping feed us and take care of us, and my medical expenses were so hard. And it was just a really, really hard time. I have had a few jobs since then, but the jobs didn't last very long because I never felt good enough. I could not get to work on time. Even if I started working at 10 o'clock, the fact that I had to wake myself up and get out of bed and get to work meant that my health started to suffer and it started to decline. So I could go a month or two, but then it would decline and I'd have to give it up. This is why now I have my own business, because I can actually take care of my hours around my health. But let's move on with the story, because about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I decided I hit an all-time high with my weight. I felt terrible. I felt awful. So I decided to be a vegan, and I just stopped everything but eating fruits and vegetables and some beans. And I lost weight. I lost about 100 some pounds. I looked really good. I felt pretty good. I mean, on a scale, I think I felt at about a 75-80%, which to me was a major improvement over how I had felt for the former 20 some years. So I did that, and I stuck with it for a long time. But as I was a vegan, I started to gain weight. I stopped losing and I started gaining as a vegan. And I remember going out with this friend of mine who ate just anything she wanted to, and she was losing all this weight. And I was eating like a chicken, and I was gaining all this weight. And she said, man, if I ate like you, I'd be skinny. I said, I don't even understand this. And then I had a brain tumor. It was a pituitary adenoma in my head. That happened. And my blood pressure went up. That happened. And I was having migraine headaches. And then I couldn't lose weight, and I started gaining and gaining and gaining and eating less and going to like 500 calories a day. And I still couldn't lose weight. I was only eating fruits, vegetables, and things like oatmeal. I was eating the complex carbohydrates. I was not snacking on junk food. In fact, my big sugar was my gummy vitamins. And I figured, well, I should be allowed my gummy vitamins. That shouldn't bother me. But my health was getting worse and worse and worse. And then one day I decided to go and do intermittent fasting. I thought, I've been intermittent fasting for 12 to 14 hours a day. I should increase it to 20 and see if that helps. So I started that. I did that for about 2 days and decided that I would hedge my bets better if I went with keto. So I started doing keto and intermittent fasting with keto. Of course, we're just in the early days here, the 1 week, the 2 week. I was not weighing myself. I did not know whether or not I was losing weight. I was not feeling any different. In fact, I was feeling awful. I had the keto flu. I was sick as a dog. And then I started hearing about people going carnivore. And so I started watching people's videos about carnivore. And one thing I noticed from those videos is these people had, one, a lot of energy, something I lacked. Two, they had resolved things like hypertension and metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. And they had this glow about them, like their skin looked so good and their eyes looked good and their teeth looked good. And they just looked amazing. And they just kept saying how much energy they had and that they were running circles around everybody else. And I thought, well, I could use a little bit of that. Keto was hard because you had to look at your grams and, you had to be under like 20 grams, in order to lose weight. And I just didn't feel like measuring. Carnivore was saying, hey, you can eat as much as you want, just eat meat. And they were talking about it being the perfect elimination diet. And I knew that I had tons of food sensitivities. And so I thought maybe this is the answer for me. If I have an autoimmune problem, probably a thyroid problem, who knows what's going on with me, I should probably do an elimination diet. So I started doing carnivore. and I got so sick. I had big bags under my eyes. I felt horrible. I did this for 2 months feeling horrible. I was losing weight, however. I lost my blood pressure pills. My blood pressure went down to normal. I lost about, I think it was 46 to 39. That's 7 inches around my waist right away. I looked so much better physically, except that my face looked really sick and I felt horrible. So I would come on here and I would say, I'm not the poster child for carnivore. I am sick as a dog. I don't know what to do. 2 months in, I was still sick as a dog, but I persisted because what choice did I have? I even had an old friend say to me, this obviously isn't working for you. You are a very sick person. You need to go off of this and you need to be vegan, which was really funny because I, of course, was vegan and that's what got me into this situation. So I knew that wasn't my answer. I knew that even though being a vegan helped me for a time, it wasn't the answer because I was developing so many other problems and I looked old. I just looked old. My face was bloated. I had no energy. I looked horrible. Now, this was also complicated for me because I have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel about decorating. And, you know, sometimes you don't want to just be on the other side of the camera. You have to stand in front of the camera and you have to talk to people and you have to connect with people. And every time I would look at myself on video, I just felt this huge shame and humiliation and disgust for how I looked. I mean, I know the camera adds pounds, but I just looked so big. And when I looked at myself next to all my friends on the video, I couldn't even look at it, which meant that half of the videos I did ended up in the garbage because I was not going to show them because I hated the way I looked. It was just horrible. So here I was, sick on the couch, going to the ER every couple months, racking up medical bills, and a lot of medical debt because I've had to have all these tests, and then they would come back and say, oh, you're fine. But I wasn't fine. I knew I wasn't fine, and I didn't know the answers. All right, so after I went to California for a wedding of my nephew and new niece, I looked at the pictures and was so just disgusted by myself that I started right away with the intermittent fasting and then into the keto and then into the carnivore. I started making videos and I was really excited about it and sharing with you guys what was happening with me. And then I started taking something called, is it H1O1 or N1O1? It's nitric oxide, N1O1 nitric oxide lozenges. And they made me sick for 2 days. And on the 3rd day, suddenly I had this energy. Now what nitric oxide does, it does, I guess, a whole lot of things. It's like this little miracle pill, according to the guy who has been studying this, which of course made me leery, but I tried it anyway because something he said clicked with me. He said that if you have a virus that can't resolve in your body, all your blood, your platelets are sticking together, your neutrophils, which are these, as I understand them, they're kind of this encapsulated cell that encapsulates your sick cells, and they all start to clump together and then they can't work. And that the nitric oxide basically comes in, it's a vasodilator, so it kind of dilates your arteries and you have more room for things to go through. It makes your blood not all stick and clump together. It oxygenates your blood and the blood flow goes better, which means now the neutrophils can start to actually take care of the virus that's stuck in there and everything gets moving. And so I bought them and I started taking them. And I have been taking them now for 3 months. I think I'm in my 3rd month. And after 3 days, I had so much energy and I started to feel so much better. So I was still making videos, but then I felt good. And so what do you do when you feel good and you've been sick for 35 years? You clean, you go into those closets that have been bothering you forever because they're just this pile of stuff, and you open the closet and everything falls at your feet, and you go into that closet and you start weeding through things and you start throwing things out. And then after you finish that closet, you go to another closet and you go to another closet. And then if you're me and you live in a super huge house with a barn and you have 6,000 square feet of space, you start moving things around all that space. And then during that time, because I felt so good, I decided to have a barn party for my other channel. And that caused a whole lot of work for me. And then my brother decided to have a retreat at my house. And that caused a whole lot of work for me. And I also offered my barn to another organization in town. And so that meant that I had to really start cleaning. I had to go through all the guest rooms, clean the closets, clean everything deeply. And that sent me on 2 months of a lot of busyness. Now, I would get out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30. I would hit the ground and I would start running through my property, literally back and forth, back and forth. I probably put on 20 miles a day. And I'm not kidding. I wish I had, a tracker, because it would have been incredible. And I ran and I ran and I ran till about 7 or 8 at night, and I never ran out of energy. My barn is down from the house. It's up a hill to get back. I'd run down, up, across my house. My house is on one level. It's like this maze. I'd go from this room to the kitchen, which is actually quite a ways. And I had the energy. It was amazing, which is why I wasn't making videos, because I was actually busy living, something that I haven't been able to do in 35 years. In 35 years, I have been sleeping in. People knew not to call me before 10:30 at least. Of course, I had my phone off, but they knew they wouldn't get a hold of me because I slept at least till 10:30, if not 11:30 every single day, because I needed the sleep. I needed my body to wake me up naturally. I am in a corner of the house all alone so that I could get my sleep, so that I could keep my health, or have some kind of tiny semblance of energy to get through a day. So I maybe work from 12 to 6, and then I was done and laying on the couch. That is on the good days. On most of the days, I could just lay on the couch. When I started intermittent fasting and carnivore, I did not exercise. People said to me, you have to exercise to lose weight. And I said, if my body doesn't feel well, I'm not exercising. So I didn't. But when I started taking the nitric oxide, I started exercising in the form of cleaning my closets and cleaning my house and lifting things up and carrying things. So it was like a gym, lifting things up, walking. My legs have slimmed down so much. I've toned up. Now I am down 11 inches on my waist. My waist is now down to a 35, which is the healthy metabolic waist. They say women shouldn't be over 35 because that's metabolic disease. My waist finally got down to 35. I am wearing right now a size 12 junior jean, which means that I'm wearing a smaller jean than I wore in high school. I still want to go down to 10 and 8. I've been there before. I've even been at 6 a little while on my vegan journey. But my legs have slimmed down. Everything has slimmed down. My face has totally changed shape. It was a lot more round. Now I take a picture and I notice my face is long and thin. Everything is just thinner. My skin is amazing. Like, it's amazing. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I look healthy. You can tell that I actually have blood flowing to my face. I still do a little rosacea here, but my skin was just not looking good. It was dry. My whole body had dry skin. My skin now all over my body is super smooth. It's super soft. My hair is thicker. It's super soft too, and it shines. My hair actually shines. I haven't noticed that my teeth are whiter. Maybe they are. I haven't noticed that my eyeballs are whiter. But I have tons of energy, and I am so much better off. That's the bottom line with what carnivore's done to me for 4.5 months. And guys, if you watched any of my beginning videos, you saw I was struggling, everything went wrong. Now, what about the histamine intolerance? I still have that. I'm managing it. I'm eating a few things once in a while that actually were made from the grocery store, but I just go to the local farms. I get most of my food from them and I eat it. I did buy the local farms out of lamb. I have to find some more farms that maybe will do lamb for me because I bought all the lamb out. But I have been eating mostly chuck steak, which is a whole lot cheaper than ribeye. Not as good, but a whole lot cheaper, much easier on the pocketbook. I eat Hamburg, again, from the local farms. I have 2 local farms that I deal with. One has a kill rate and a freeze rate right away. That's the one I prefer for most of my histamine issues, but I get a lot from the other farm that lets it sit for 2 weeks. I do notice that that does give me some histamine issues. So yes, my nose has been running. I have some asthma. That is an inflammation that I am still working on healing. The other thing is that this 4.5 months, I still have joint pain. I have a lot of joint pain. A lot of arthritis. I have joint pain in my back. IS joint. I have a lot of pain in my right knee. In fact, I was at a play a couple weeks ago and it was very narrow and I couldn't move my knee for a couple hours. And by the end of the play, I had to spring out of my seat because my knee was killing me. So I still have a lot of arthritic pain. That is not resolved on carnivore. However, I have been more of a dirty carnivore in the sense that even though I eat mostly lion diet with my meat and salt and water, I have added the butter because the butter gives me a lot of fat. If I don't eat the butter, I tend to get constipated. The butter, I believe, is doing wonders for my thyroid and my skin and my health. And right now, I feel like to resolve a lot of my autoimmune issues, some thyroid issues, I need to eat that fat. Now, I could go with tallow. I just haven't been able to stomach it yet. It took me a long time to stomach butter, and so I'm struggling with the tallow. If I switch to tallow, I probably could resolve the joint pain. The other thing that I have been doing is we do eat some ice cream. It's special carnivore ice cream. And I have deviated a little bit from the carnivore ice cream. That carnivore ice cream was egg yolks and heavy cream. And then I put a little teeny flavoring in there. But the other day I decided to I wanted a little more flavor. And maybe it's a slippery slope, but I got the Truvani. It is a plant-based protein mix. It's very low in carbs. It only has a little bit of monk fruit as a sweetener. And I mixed that with heavy cream. I put it in the freezer and I put it in my Ninja Creamy, and oh my goodness, was that good. So good. It was like eating custard. It was like things that I've missed eating. And I don't eat a lot. I eat maybe 6 spoonfuls if I eat it, and then I put it away. But I have done that a little bit. I feel like when you're doing something like this in the long term, plus I need the fat, and there's a lot of fat in heavy cream. When you're doing something like this in the long term, you have to do what you can to really get through it. And I had a hard time. In the fall, I wanted the apple cider donuts. I wanted the hot apple cider. I will want pumpkin pie. I wanted pumpkin ice cream. So I got the Truvani pumpkin flavor and made my own pumpkin ice cream. Much healthier. The bottom line is you want to do your body no harm. The other thing that my daughter and I have been making is she's making carnivore pizza. She makes it with cottage cheese and egg for the crust. And then she does put a teeny bit, not much, just a teeny bit of pizza sauce on it. No sugar, just a teeny bit of tomato sauce, and then cheese and Hamburg on it. And so we have done that every once in a while. Those things tend to flare up my histamine issue and also cause inflammation in my body. So I do feel it when I do that. However, I have another remedy for this inflammation in my body that I really want to share with you because, oh, it looks a little dark on here. I really want to share this with you because I don't know how I missed it. It's been around for 25 years, but it's called grounding. And so really ever since I did yoga teacher training, which was about 7 years ago, I started developing pain in my IS joint. And I think it was because my mattress, it was causing me not enough support in my back, and it hurt. And I had so many mattresses in the house because I set this place up with like 7 bedrooms. And so my husband really didn't want me to buy another mattress that would support my back because we have all these mattresses. And since he has no problem sleeping and no problem with pains and aches, he didn't see it as a problem. However, I gave in, did not buy a mattress, and I'm gonna move this just a little. Okay, that's a little better. I did not buy a mattress, and I lived with the pain thinking that there were things I could do to resolve it, but there has been nothing I could do to resolve it. I think it's partly from a lot of sitting. It's the way I sit at the computer. But it's caused a lot of problems for me. I probably have some lower back degeneration or disc problems. I can feel it on my spine. I know I have it on the top of my spine. So anyway, there's arthritis and all these things going on in there. I've had shots of steroids and everything else. I can't seem to get a clear handle on this. Anyway, I was hoping that the carnivore diet would really take care of the joint pain. As a vegan, when I didn't do any dairy, I did not have joint pain. Now on the carnivore diet, with the butter and with a little bit of dairy, the inflammation is on my joints and I am arthritic. So I learned about grounding in one of my carnivore videos. And so I went down a deep dive into grounding, found out that this man, Clint Ober, he is, well, I don't know. You'd have to listen to his story. Just look it up. I think it's the grounding movie. There's a grounding movie and there's the earthing movie. And he wrote a book, and he was in Sedona, and he had a pain, and he actually, I don't know why he thought of this. He was used to grounding things. So he knew how electricity and energy worked, and he knew that the earth was a neutral place. And so he actually decided to ground into the ground and take a copper wire and string it. I think he was stringing around beds. He was stringing around toes. He was trying this on people who were having pain, people with MS, people with lupus, people with arthritis. And he was trying this on these people because he found that he slept really well and his pains were going away. His body was full of pain because he had an athletic past, and his pains were going away. And it sounds crazy, guys, I know, but he started doing it for people, and those people were having amazing relief and recovery from their inflammation. And bottom line is, all these years later, he's done studies. They've done a lot of peer-reviewed medical studies. He's worked on people with MS and lupus. He has seen great results, and he's written books, and he's developed products that you can actually use to ground yourself, like when you're in bed. There are sheets now, grounding sheets. There are a lot of companies that make them. And he does a grounding mat that can go under or right over your sheet that you can lay on, and a grounding mattress pad. He does grounding shoes. He's got a grounding pillow that I'm gonna have to totally get. But anyway, I was listening to this thing on grounding, and I started by getting a cheap mat on Amazon for $29.99 and thought, I'm just going to sit on this and lay on this with my sciatica and see if it improves. And by George, in a couple days, I saw improvement. I was lying on it in bed. I could get up in the middle of the night without pain in my back. And I thought, this is amazing. So my mother was suffering from sciatica, so I got her one. And you know what? She's sitting on it and she's getting relief. So then when I got that relief, I thought, okay, well, I need more than just my back because my knee hurts. You know, I got a lot of, my neck hurts, my shoulders hurt, my arms hurt. I have a lot of pain and inflammation still in my body going on. So I actually bought the mattress pad, With the mattress pad kit, you could buy a whole kit. For the price of a mattress pad, you could buy a whole kit. In the kit, I got another grounding mat, a whole bunch of things that will go into the wall. I got a grounding mechanism so you can see if your mat is working. I got something that sees if your ground is working. They gave me 90 some or 100 patches that you can actually put on the painful parts of your body just to ground that. They gave me 2 books, and they gave me a $120 pair of grounding shoes. All because I got the kit. So they gave away the farm. I mean, this is earthing.com. It was amazing. So I got all this stuff, and I laid last night for the first night on my grounding mattress pad, and I have to tell you, I'm still waking up to go to the bathroom at night. However, I could go right to sleep because that pain went right away. It used to be that I'd toss and turn and lay there because I was in so much pain. I could not get comfortable. My back hurt here, my knee hurt. I couldn't turn my body. If I laid on this shoulder hurt. You know, my neck would hurt. I'd start to get a headache. So many places I could not position myself because I was in such pain. Now I'm laying down and I'm not in any pain at night. Now, according to this man who invented this, he is brilliant, really. According to him, studies have shown that the longer people lay on these, the more their symptoms start to resolve. So maybe I have some resolution at the time I'm laying on it, and I still feel the pain during the day. But what happens at 2 or 3 weeks? Because as long as you can get that inflammation down, your body can start to heal. The other thing that grounding does, and they've shown this in tests, you can see that on YouTube videos too, is that your platelets and everything clump together, just like the problem I was describing before I started taking the nitric oxide. And when you start to ground, almost immediately, or within like 5 minutes, your blood starts flowing better. Things aren't clumping anymore. Things are moving through. It's almost like a blood thinner for you, which is so much better for your health because then your blood is flowing through your body. You're not as likely to get blood clots and clumps and things that are going to cause a stroke or cardiac events. So it's an amazing thing. So I have seen this is their blood before. This is their blood after 5 to 15 minutes on the grounding mat. Now let's look at their blood, and you just see their blood flying through and not clumping all together. So that was enough for me to do that. So that's what I'm doing now. I am not only doing carnivore. As far as the intermittent fasting goes, I'm not doing that as regularly. I am kind of eating when I want to eat. So I might wake up, I don't know what time it is right now. I haven't eaten yet. It's probably in the 10:30-ish. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't eaten yet. And I will eat when I feel like it, maybe at noon. I eat usually till maybe 7 at night, but sometimes I stop at 5. So if I eat till 7 and I don't eat till noon the next day, that's what, like an 18-hour window? So I'm intermittent fasting for 18 hours without really any problem. However, if I get up another day and I'm like, man, I'm hungry, I might eat right away. If I go out at night and it's 7:30 and I'm starving, I'm gonna eat. And what that does is it kind of messes with my sleep at night. But I will eat because I'm hungry. So I'm kind of listening to my body. I average about 2 meals a day. If I eat at noon and I eat again at 5 or 6, that's it. That's all I'll do. But I'm trying to at least get that so I get my calories in. And I'm really deliberate about getting my fat in. And the fat also adds the calories. I really try not to go below 1,700 calories a day. Some days I might go way below that, but then I try to make up for it the next day. So that's what I'm doing. Have I stepped on the scale? No, this drives everybody crazy. I have not stepped on the scale. Last time I stepped on the scale, I had lost 35 pounds and then I stalled for at least a month and a half. That was so discouraging for me, and I hated it so much. So now, a couple months later, even though I'm down a pant size and my waist is down 2 inches, and I look a lot thinner, I could still weigh the same thing because I know that I've developed a lot of muscles in my legs. My legs look very toned. People always comment on my legs now when I'm wearing leggings. They're like, oh my goodness, you're like looking so fit. So that's an amazing thing because my legs were big and they were wobbly and they were just so big, and they have really slimmed down. So yeah, I haven't stepped on the scale. Every morning I think, should I step on the scale this morning? And I'm actually terrified. I think I'm not going to step on the scale until maybe I'm in a size 10. Size 8, I'll definitely step on the scale. When I get like really thin and I'm curious about what I weigh, then I'll step on the scale. But right now, I feel great. I look good. I look okay on video. I look okay on pictures. I don't feel repulsed at myself anymore. I have a lot of energy. My skin looks good. My mother keeps telling me how healthy I look. She can't get over it because she's seen me for 35 years be sick. She's seen how I don't look healthy. And she's amazed at how healthy I look and how healthy I feel. I used to call my mother. I always call my mother in the morning when I wake up. It used to be a 10:30 phone call. 9:30 on a good day. Now I have to actually wait until she's ready for the phone call. I have to get up and wait till 8 o'clock to call her. We had to decide a time that I was allowed to call her and not before. That's crazy. That's like crazy business. For me, it's getting my life back. Carnivore has given me my life back. Also, the N101 has given me my life back. I recommend that to anyone who has a virus that they can't resolve. I don't know if it'll work for you like it worked for me, but I have tried everything under the sun. And when I heard about that and decided to try it, I had this feeling in me that this was gonna be the thing that worked. And it was. It was the thing that worked. Now, am I completely healed? I don't even know what completely healed is anymore. Do I have like more energy than the average person? I don't know. I don't know what that is either. I know I have a lot more energy than my average has been over the last 35 years. Do I get tired? Well, in all honesty, after 2 months of running nonstop, and then stopping and then hitting the computer to try to get my Christmas line out. Yeah, now I'm kind of tired. I am tired. I'm not like I have to lay on the couch tired. I should rest tired maybe after I do this and this and this, and after I run around here and there, and I will go here and there, and it doesn't bother me. I can get in the car, I can go to a store, and it doesn't take my whole rest of my day to recover from that. I can change my clothes a couple times a day and it doesn't exhaust me. I'm still taking outdoor showers, so I walk down to the shower, walk back. That doesn't exhaust me. That even would have exhausted me. Walking up the hill, I would have been huffing and puffing. I can go back and forth to my car to get something. I don't have to ask my husband to load my car anymore with my supplies because I can do it myself. There are a lot of things that I can do myself. I can do the dishes. That used to exhaust me. I can put my clothes away. It used to be that putting my clothes away would exhaust me to the point that I had to lay on the couch. Now, a lot of you never saw this because I didn't show this on my videos. I would try to get a surge of energy, do a video, and then stop, but my life has changed. So that is the total story, guys. I'm sorry I haven't been there as the cheerleader for people. I just kind of dropped it. I just got so busy and didn't even have time to make a video. And then when I would talk and I'd think, well, this is a stupid video. In fact, for all I know, I'm gonna get this video over into my computer and I'm gonna be like, oh, Guy, this is too long. You droned on and on. I'm gonna try to make myself publish this video so that you hear from me. But I'm really happy I did carnivore. I am super happy. But my daughter and I have been sticking with this the whole time. She's got a whole lot more energy. In fact, she was always slow. And yesterday we went to Costco together, BJ's together, and she was like going as fast as me. We were both walking so fast. We had this pep in our step. I mean, we just kind of stand out as like super energy people right now, which is so weird because we were both like, the. If you're feeling sick, try it. I think it's amazing. I am joining the group of people that really like carnivore, the group of people that are believers. I'm joining them. I can't help it. The proof is in my pudding. I was the worst of the worst that I knew. I know there are a lot of people out there with really bad problems that are reversing them on carnivore, and I am now one of them. So, is my CFS reversed? I don't know, but I'm leading a normal, active life, and I feel so great, and that's fantastic.